What's up everybody, my name is Mac, welcome to the channel. Today I have a cool video. As you can see, two Klark Teknik KT-2A compressors right here. They're both stock right now. Today we are going to open them up, see what's going on inside and see what's moddable. I'm gonna keep one stock and I'm gonna modify one and we'll kind of see what the difference is. So guys, stick around for the whole video if you wanna see what's going on with these, how it can be modded, and if it can play with the big boy. Alright guys, so we're here in the tech room and I need to take this apart, get a better count of the capacitors and some of the other components that are in here and kind of just take a look. I know what tubes are in here, so those I've already gotten replacements. The opto module I've gotten a replacement and upgrade, but I need to get in there and get a better idea of what capacitors I need to get. I also got some other stuff and we'll get into that later, but for now let's crack into this and see what we got going on. So we got our part. Really we just took off the top, but as we can see in here, I took off this in that little video. It's just, it looks like a little protector so that the tube doesn't touch the top and crush down on the tube. But yeah, as we can see the four tubes right here. This is the opto module actually that gets replaced with an upgraded one from Kinetic. And then, as we can see, there's a few big caps. I did see one down in here. That one actually is the same as these. It was really hard to see the number, but I figured it out. And then, actually, I can see these caps, these little ones down here. There's 1, 2, 3, and one hiding under this cable right here. And then I see some film caps that I can't read really, and back here on this section there's a bunch of little caps in there and some different things that I can't really read, so I actually need to take this apart further, and it looks like we're gonna kind of have to deconstruct this thing, so I'm gonna leave the camera up here for that angle. can see I had to get this out, but now I can actually see the back side of all these caps, make sure I'm getting everything I need. I can see positions on the board, can get some more idea of like kind of what's going on in here. And really what I want to do is replace all of these caps. I'll have to look into that cap. That's a serious capacitor. Yeah, I can see all of that, and then now I can actually pick this up and I can read the back side of these film caps. That's everything that I want to check out, you know. So now I'm going to make a list, and I'm actually going to put these tubes back in. This one was kind of crunchy, actually, which that looks weird to me, but we'll see. We're replacing these anyways, so. But I'm not putting these in like fully. I'm just putting them in so I don't misplace them and I know which one goes in which, because actually each of these tubes is different. I think these two might be the same, but these two are different. And then this is the opto module, which actually I wanted to. This is something that I'm upgrading, and this just pops out. Yeah, I just wanted to see how that was, if I was going to have to do anything special there. But yeah, so now I'm just going to take a list of everything, kind of, while I'm in here, just kind of look. I'll probably clean this off. I haven't opened this before. I don't know if this is like from smoke or, but I'll clean all this, and I mean, everything looks pretty good down below. This unit actually did not have a problem. None of these ones I'm modding actually have any problems. It's just easier to start that way. From here, what I need to do is, like I said, make note of all these caps that are in here, and there's all that stuff that I want to replace. I need to do some investigating about these input and output transformers. Pretty sure you can change these out. Opto module is coming. I have all the new tubes at home. I actually have some of these capacitors here, but I'm trying to stay within the same brand of capacitor. I actually don't know. I've never even heard of some of these capacitors, like the name on them, and I've never seen, like I've seen the brown ones and the black ones, but they're not Kemet, which is usually that, or a Nishikon is black, but that's not what they are. And then these blue ones, I've never even seen those. So like, these are really off-brand things, and probably in bulk order. They're probably not like bad quality, but it's not what we want when we're doing a boutique mod like this. So I'm going to stick to Panasonic and Nishikon caps, but I decided, like, tone-wise, to keep it more towards an LA2. Yeah, and then I also actually, where is that? Oh, it's on the faceplate. I might actually pop this open and take a look in there and see if that's a white LED or if I can change the color of that. Because I also noticed on here, this little board, this is where it was. So this little light, right, this little LED right here is actually the one that shines through on this guy right here. And I was actually thinking, since I'm customizing it, I know that you can get different colors of these little jewel top things, and then I could just put a white LED in there and rock that. But I think that that would be cool to, you know, debadge this, strip this all down, powder coat this, pop out the meter, maybe even find a new one. Really, my plan is to kind of freshen this up, because as you see, it's kind of dirty, and change the font and change the name right here, take off the Klark badging. But that's kind of my plan with this. So all right, well, since I'm at that point where it's kind of time to start digging in with the soldering iron and replacing stuff, I want to kind of go over all the things that I personally am going to do for this mod on this KT-2A. It's just the one of them first, and then I'll probably switch some things up on the second one after we do like a side-by-side. But I did want to kind of go over everything that I'm doing. And I did want to mention that you don't have to, if you're doing this at home and you want to do some modding to your KT-2A, You don't have to go this far. I'd say this is probably the furthest you can go with this, but you can do certain things instead of just everything. And I think that you still will get a good change up and an upgrade from what the Klark Teknik KT-2A is stock. I've actually heard from some people that just doing this kinetic T4B opto attenuator module, just doing that and changing the tubes, that alone brings it kind of closer to maybe say like an Audioscape LA2 model, something like that. And then if you were to throw in the caps, then you're actually like right there with it. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I have here on my table is all the capacitors that I'm going to be changing out. And I have them kind of in these 4 different piles because they're all one brand except for this one because I couldn't find the rating I needed in Nishikon, which is the brand that I chose to go with for this build. But each of these piles is actually a specific series of capacitor, which without getting super technical, capacitors can be made with different grade and quality of just the materials made to make them. So when you get into like a super high quality audio grade Nishikon, you get stuff like these gold ones, which is the FW series, and there's some other ones that are good, like this ES series. This is kind of their newer model, and I couldn't find this rating in some of these, so I just kind of went with that. And then when we get over here to these bigger Nishikon caps, they're a completely different series because these are actually for the power supply, and I went for something that having the audio grade gold doesn't matter. It's more about durability and just clean power. So that's kind of what I went with for these. And you wouldn't think this would all make a difference, but it kind of does because all of this stuff is filtering the power, which is the sound. So that makes sense. Yeah, those are all the caps I'm going to be replacing. I have a few of these bags have multiple because I have the 2 units and I plan to use the multiples that I have for the other unit. But yeah, those are all the capacitors. Next up, I have some Teflon coated wiring in 22 and 20 gauge. I'm not sure if I'm going to need this, but being that I have new transformers and some other components, I'm not sure. So I just have this out because this is kind of like the higher quality wire to use. So if I have the opportunity to switch some wire that's in there, I will. It's not a super concern yet, but I just have it out in case I need it. So the next are these caps, which actually I'm only going to be using one, and they're really hard to read, but this is like a decoupling cap. This will make a huge difference tonal wise, and this is why I actually have the wire out because this is pretty big compared to the one that's in there. So I might need to relocate one of these. And the next is this individual purple LED. Looks red, but it's actually purple. And that's what I plan to use to switch out the amber or yellowish gold one for the power light. Getting over here to the good stuff. First up, easy, is these are the tubes that I decided to go with. There's 2 of these 12AX7s. And I went with the tongue sole for the vibe that those give off, which is kind of like more of a clean, but also a little bit of a vintage vibe, but a little bit clean. And then this Electro Harmonix 12BH7, that one will make it a lot more warmer. And same with this Thompson. That'll also make it warmer. So these are the upgrade tubes I'm going to be putting in. And I would say that this would be the easiest upgrade. If someone wanted to do an upgrade, I would say this and the opto module because they literally just pop in and out. You could open up the top of the case and take out the other tubes and put these in. And you can actually kind of play around with the sound that you're getting with these tubes because you could get on tubedepot.com and kind of search around for the tube, the style of tube, and just kind of search around to see what is in there and maybe do some research online and figure out like, oh, okay, maybe I want to make my compressor a little bit warmer. because the mic that I'm using is very bright, or vice versa, something like that. You know, that this is where you can kind of dictate some of that flavor very easily. And then since I already mentioned this as an easy upgrade, this is the Kinetic T4B Opto Attenuator module. So you can actually contact these guys when you're making a purchase and tell them kind of how you want your compressor to react, because this right here is basically what is dictating how this opto compressor is reacting, because you don't really get a choice of how the attack or the release is. That's all in this module right here. So when I talked to them, I said that I wanted it to be more of a faster attack and release, so that it's more modern rap, R&B, vocal oriented compressors. And again, since I have the 2 units, I got 2 of them, and I told them to try to match as much as possible. They actually do have a process that costs $100 extra for matching them for something like a mastering build. If you're building a compressor where there's 2 of these and you're trying to really get, you know, match for a stereo, you can do that. But I told them, yeah, just make them as close as possible, because I was probably going to switch up what caps and all the other stuff that's in there. So yeah, this is the opto module. And again, I think that this and the tubes would probably be the easiest things to upgrade, and I will have a price breakdown at the end of the video. But yeah, this is about $100, or maybe these are, yeah, these are $100, and you get to dictate what you want. And if you don't say anything, they kind of just send you a medium in the middle. And then I think all of these tubes together was maybe $60 or $70. So right there, you're looking at about $170, maybe $200, somewhere right around there, just for a pretty much a plug and play upgrade. And you can kind of dictate how you want your compressor to sound off of these 2 things right here. So next, we're really getting into the good stuff. These are transformers, and they're actually all the way from the UK. These are turning out to be some pretty expensive transformers, and the reason why I went with Souder instead of Cinemag, which is the US brand, is because this is bringing it closer to like an LA2 build. Because if someone were to be rebuilding an LA2 and they couldn't find like a Teltronics one, and they couldn't find a transformer, they would go to Souder, because of the way that they wound these. These are the ones that are would be replacements for those if you can't find the original. So that's kind of why I did these, and this is going to make a huge difference, because the ones that are in the Klark, it has transformers, but they're just like from Midas, which is not a terrible brand, but they're nothing special. So this is where it's going to hit the actual iron and really make a difference alongside with all these other kind of things that we have going on. But this is really just, you know, the full boutique build that we have going on here. And again, I'll get into the price of everything once I'm completely done, and kind of maybe even give some options of different levels of where you can kind of go with it. You know how I said you could just do tubes in the opto module, or if you wanted to do those and the caps, or just the caps, or just these, you know what I mean? Okay, so first things first, I need to actually, I'm on a short leashes here. There's like a ground cable over here, and the transformers were actually where this was connected to this card. I just disconnected that, so this is separate. But I need to get this one out, because I'm going to start with this one that has the most caps on it. And yeah, so I see down here, there's actually, you can kind of see there's some glue down here. I'm trying to get this stuff off. It's kind of just like coming off. I don't know exactly. I mean, I guess it is holding it on, but it's just interesting. This is actually good. I don't need to take this any further, but I will move this one out of the way and work on this separately. All right, guys, so that's it for this video. We got a lot done on the compressor already. We got it opened up and examined to see what I needed to actually get. We got all of the caps replaced on both of the PCB boards inside of there. We kind of went over all the parts that we're going to be putting into the compressor. We also got most of it back together. And right now, all we have to do is really put those transformers back in, get it completely all back together, and test it out against the original one. But before we get to that, that's gonna be in part 2 video, which will be coming very soon. I needed to break them up. This video is getting a little bit long, but part 2 will have not only the side-by-side videos of both compressors, kind of shootout, and possibly I could get a Teltronics LA2A in here, but you will also get to see the entire process of me giving the compressor a makeover, because it does not look like a regular KT-2A anymore. I stripped it down, I powder coated it, changed the VU meter, did some other little cool things inside. So stick around, guys, make sure you subscribe. And if you like this type of content, please let me know, drop a comment. Go ahead and like this video as well. I really appreciate the support. I have a lot more videos coming. There's some really cool other mod videos coming out, as well as finishing up this compressor. We'll get into the other Klark KT-76 compressors. I also have some budget stuff that I literally got at a thrift store, I guess you would call it, or a music resale shop. And it's stuff that is highly moddable. So we're gonna go through some of that. So stay tuned, guys, stick with me. Go ahead, like I said, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.